This is a special picture. It's made from a print by Jamie Reid, who is the original graphic designer behind the Sex Pistols, the Queen's Head, which Back to Basics also always used in its iconography. And Dave Beer was the promoter, but also the creative art director behind the whole project. And massive Jamie Reid fan. They actually became friends in the end. That's another story. And yeah, so we made this inspired by Dave's art and Jamie Reid's art for Back to Basics Rare Classics, a compilation put together by myself and Tristan da Cunha. And as far as I know, this is the only one in existence. And I want to go and give it to Dave Beer to say thanks for my life and times as a resident DJ at Back to Basics, but also the inspiration Back to Basics gave 2020 Vision in this, our 30th year. And it's just a nice full circle moment, something I feel like I need to do. Hello, mate.
Hey, mate.
Got a little something for you.
Ah.
Sure you know what that is. Don't have to explain it. Oh, so yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, mate, for like everything you've done for me as a DJ, as a person, for 2020 Vision, and yeah, just as a little token, it's obviously the Back to Basics Rare Classics series we did with the Jamie Reid picture, and obviously Jamie was like right there from the start, and he was part of your original punk ethos and your art and the direction. I think the second flyer was Jamie. Do you remember how it came about with how you met and what how it went down with him?
Yeah, of course. Before going to that, you don't know you've given me that before, don't you?
No, I haven't given you.
Yeah, I'm going on top of my stairs, but it's okay.
With the records?
No, I've got that, yeah.
No, I've given you the print, but not this is the records.
Right, oh, brilliant.
No, I haven't given you the. I haven't given you the picture. No. This is this. You've got the actual records.
Yeah, but I like to anyway because I have one in here.
You're kidding me? With the one with the records?
No, but it's
oh, you're kidding me!
That's wicked. I've got 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards as well.
Oh,
it's brilliant.
Oh man!
That's brilliant.
Oh, you're kidding me! So I did 2.
And I thought my memory was bad. That's brilliant, though. You can't have it back, mind.
Oh no! Should I give you the one with the records on the stairs first?
Yeah, wait a second.
Oh, you are.
Brilliant. So as you can see, Ralph's just when you're getting on a bit, your memory goes a little bit. So you better get used to it. So Ralph's just given me a present of this beautiful thing twice. Bear in mind, I've got 2 Lifetime Achievement Awards. So
you deserve 2. You deserve 2, mate. Back to basics.
Back to basics. So thank you, Ralph, again. I love it.
For the same present.
I hope I get one next year.
Oh, mate, we're all getting on, aren't we? Oh man! Oh, so I got round to doing it again.
Yeah, I was like all this time. Where could he go for me? I love my last present.
Okay. Well,
I love my last present. I still love my last present, and I love my new present.
Oh, okay.
Back to basics. Now I can have one upstairs and one in my Mandan. Perfect. You know what I mean?
That's the one for the studio.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a great piece of work anyway. So
the
more the merrier. You know. I hope you keep giving me one annually now. I could have them in every room. You know,
I probably forgot. I forget how many I've given.
It's great. It's brilliant though. It's like I've got more Jamie Reids than Jamie Reid about.
Yeah.
People read about. I mean, but not like particularly like I've got kind of, as you know, I've got quite a few Jamie Reids around, and the original Sex Pistols, this image that I've got in the living room is that's Jamie Reid print. And I've got a few all around the house. But yeah, so it's like I'm a massive, obviously a Jamie Reid fan. But what I love about Jamie Reid's work is the plagiarism. You know, it's like
sampling, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly like sampling. It's taking something and making it your own. So he did that in the first place. You know what I mean? I think it was Picasso that said. What did he say? It's great. Was it great artists paint and geniuses steal?
Talent borrows, genius steals.
Yeah. So I knew it was something along those lines, but not the.
How did it come about though with just using the Queen's Head? Because obviously you did that. You basically just stole the Queen's Head for the second flyer, the basics flyer, wasn't it? And then didn't he find out about it? I thought.
No, but I was sick to death of all the flyers at that time. If you remember, like they were all like sunrise and all that kind of trippy kind of geometrics on all the flyers, and all these kind of it was all a bit samey, you know what I mean? And I just thought, this is boring, you know. And I thought, like, fuck that shit. And by this time, we were, like, getting a little bit tired of that kind of glow stick sniffing, wearing, you know, carry on that was going on.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy now, because like, you look back at it with fondness, thinking like, wow, I wish it was like that. But we were quite cocky in the first place. We started wearing our leather trousers again and getting our punk epics back out, because I was sick of people rubbing us in Vicks. And like back in the day, people used to in raves would put Vicks on you to try and bring you up on your E, which I've not taken. You know, like it's like, mate, what are you doing? It's like, no, I'm bringing you up, mate. I'm bringing you in. But it was that horrible looking Manchester bloke, that was like Chelsea bloke that you used to want to kill you, rubbing you in Vicks. So it was like making your eyes water, but you weren't going to say about it.
Football hooligans on E.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was fantastic, and it's like, but when we started Basics, we wanted something different. We wanted to change things up a lot, as you know. So it was like kind of music policy, as well as dress policy, as well as the overall look and image of the club. And back then, your imprint was your flyer, so it was like you had to get. That was what that told the story, you know.
And so, how did it come about to Jamie Reid actually got in touch with you in the Basics?
It was kind of mad, because basically, like, we stole the image, because I knew it'd be just a great image. When as soon as it hit the streets, it'd be so different, just like it was with Nevermind the Bollocks, you know, the Sex Pistols album. You just knew if you just stir up a bit of a storm in a teacup by just saying something really like blatant, like 2 steps further than any other fucker, you know what I mean? It was like basically calling everybody else a fucker, and that you're miles ahead of them. And it's like, as I've said before, it's a pretty bold statement, but you've got to, if you set your stall out...
Tell it while you're walking. If you don't like it, was another one.
If you set your stall out, you've got to, you've got to...
That's your bed, you lie in it, yeah.
Yeah, push it as far as you can, you know, and ride it till the wheels fall off, as they say.
But didn't he get in contact with you? I think I seem a memory of saying, look, what the fuck are you doing with my
using the image. And he thought the success of the club, because in the first year we won Club of the Year. And as you know, like, when we went to Albert Hall to get the gold disc, which is now in the museum, funnily enough. But he was like, he'd heard about it, so I invited him along. And then when he came, he actually put the success of the club as down to a few backdrops, you know. He had no idea. And when he came to the club, it just blew him away. It was like, did you record on that as well? It just blew him away. Oh, fuck it. Sorry. I'll take again.
It's all right, we'll switch to the thing.
Yeah, so when Jamie Reid came to the club and he heard about we were using this image, which isn't his anyway, he nicked it from the Royal Mail, but he came...
Royal Mail, what was that?
Well, it's just a Queen's Head, isn't it?
Okay, for the stamp, yeah.
Just out of efforts, you can nick the Queen's Head from anywhere, can't you? I mean, it's actually... it's treason to actually deface the Queen anyway. So me and Jamie should be both in the Towers of London, locked up basically. Well, he's not around sadly anymore.
No,
but
passed, yeah.
But when he came, he was kicking off thinking like the success of the club was down to him. But then when he saw how good the club was and how it was, what was happening there, it just got kind of like, oh, right, okay.
My memory is you did like a little exhibition for him.
I did, yeah.
You set up a...
I said, what are you bothered about, mate? I said, like it's just exactly what you did. It's plagiarism. It's just like, we're just using the image. I thought you'd be flattered, you know what I mean? It's like, because we think you're great, you know. Like,
I like your point that it's like sampling, and sampling was such an important part of the music, and the artwork was also basically sampling ideas.
Exactly that, and it's sort of bedroom, what you could do in your bedroom. It was cut and paste, sticking stuff on. We didn't have computers,
Yeah.
So it was like...
Did you do it by hand? Did you actually cut stuff up by hand and made a collage?
Me and Nick Gunn like cut all the letters out and stuck them on.
Yeah.
And then copied
all these, basically?
Yeah.
But it's from like the typewriters, when you do that type print.
Yeah, like a blackmail
that comes out the rip, yeah.
It was just like, we've got your son, and send us £4 or something. You know, like, nobody ever did. It was just like, so it was trial and error really, so we just did it, and And that the week that flyer, it was only one-sided as well, and it was £4, 4 and £5 in. And we didn't know who we had on the next week, so we just put on loads of people that we'd been in touch with, like Boyzone, Most Excellent, Eastern Bloc, which I think it was originally it was an Eastern Bloc saying anyway. I think I saw it on their window 2 steps further than any other.
So even nicked that.
So even nicked that. I mean, like, it's like everything in it. It's like, if you can take it, you know, and use it and make it your own. It's like that's what I love about that whole kind of ethos about house music. Well, all music's like it comes from something, you know, like that you like, and you just make your own. And that's how it should be.
Especially dance music, though. It's perfect fit.
And exactly. It's for sharing and it's community. And when he was kicking off about it, I said, "God, to say," he said, like, "never trust an hippie." And, you know, like in the punk days, it was like, "never trust a skint artist," because he actually went to the papers at one point. And that's exactly what I said in the papers, you know, in the mixed mag, it was "never trust a skint artist." But as it happens, we ended up being mates. I said, "Look, what do you want from me?" You know, like, so me and Ali bought some paintings and threw him some pictures, some prints, and then I said, "How much to use it?" And he, believe it or not, it was £50.
No way.
I gave him £50 cash, and you know, like, and got him to sign a disclaimer to say that I could use this image. And it was like £50 in 1991, I suppose. That was about £60. But bless him, you know what I mean. And I said, "We'll do you an exhibition." So we did an art exhibition of all the original Sex Pistols stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the club,
it was nice.
And the first anniversary, he designed the poster. Yeah, so he did all that as well. So he had value for money, £50. You know what I mean? And he got a free poster, an exhibition. You know, Jamie Reid, who's like, you know, if you don't know, he was like the main guy behind all the imagery, like, except for this one, that's a Brian Cannon who did Oasis, but he did all the Sex Pistols imagery, and it was pretty provocative at the time, and which is what we were trying to do with the club. We were trying to just be different, you know, do something that wasn't going to make you fall asleep, you know, like, which most places were. The only reason you wouldn't fall asleep in most places because you might get robbed, you know, like, but like, we just wanted to keep a certain element out. So it was so punk ethos, doing it in a gay club, you know, using imagery that nobody's used before, you know, telling everybody what you can do one, you know.
Strict door policy. When you were quite often on the door yourself, you know.
Yeah, red and yellow cards, that was a brilliant one, you know. Like, you know, like, you give me a yellow card, who does that? You know, it's so freaking cheeky. You know, now from my buddy's point of view, it's like, you know, it's kind of bizarre to think you're so judgmental about it. I've got a bit about me about, like, things should be right, or, you know, but I don't, I wouldn't go up to somebody and kick off about them having brown shoes with black suit on anymore, you know. Like, where once upon a time I'd see a pair of brown pointy shoes, you know, the ones I mean, like brogues.
Yeah.
That people, that bank clerks wear, things like that. When
people would go out quite smart. You know, there was that whole thing about had the shirt and the brogues and the straight trousers, and then it was
but
just,
not brown ones with
not brown ones. No, you don't
with
come.
the black suit.
But yeah,
you know,
but
mate, what are you doing? You know, like, here's a yellow card, sort it out. You know, just think about it. You know, you've got a mirror, think about it, sort it out, and then try a bit harder. And if you got a red card, you just weren't coming in. But it was generally because it was that hooligan element.
Luckily, I was never on the door. I was like in the back playing the records by then. So I missed all that action.
I actually cowardly got Gary in, who was the fashion
Gary, of course, yeah. Gary Lethbridge.
And he used to judge everybody on shoes and haircuts. He even wouldn't let John Galliano in once, you know, because he had a pair of plastic loafers on, and he was like, he said he let him in because he thought he was being ironic. Which either way.
He didn't know it was John Galliano.
I think he did know it was John Galliano.
Yeah, he's quite distinctive, wasn't he?
It matter, you know who you are, you know what I mean? Back to Basics was like we were pretty ruthless with that little policy, but it worked, you know. It's like, but again, it's not my idea. It was like Malcolm McLaren, you know, again, you know, the Sex Pistols, he just wouldn't let anybody see the band, though. Well, he didn't have much choice. So, like, out of every adversity, there's a positive. So he made it as a marketing tool because like he got banned from playing everywhere, so like nobody could get to see him. So again, even better, you know what I mean? Everybody thinks it's better than it actually is because you can't get in.
Yeah,
anywhere.
obviously Studio 54 had that kind of, you know, like really hard to get in, exclusive kind of door policy. I'm not sure if I love it looking back on it, but I think the plus part side of it was just making a space that was good for the right people, rather than another way of looking at it, isn't it?
I mean, it sounds like we were being kind of
quite
like
elitist, yeah, but it wasn't like that. It was more just like, you know,
just tidying things up.
You kind of have to get the space right for the people that actually just want to come and have a party and listen to the music.
If you've got a room full of clutter, what are you talking about? When you've just loads of stuff around you,
organised chaos.
It's like, you know, your head's going in all sorts of directions. It's like that's how raves have become. You didn't know you were getting taxed by everybody. There was gangsters. There was the doormen were gangsters. There were not mine gangsters.
And that was a town thing as well, though, wasn't it? That was very much what we were doing as opposed to Manchester, because that was happening in the Hacienda by that point, wasn't it?
That was the only place worth going, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you know, so back to basics.
But that was very much my experience. Was I was going to Manchester, and when it went to kind of got like the airport security systems, and then there was deaths, and there was the gangs in it. It was kind of all over, wasn't it?
As soon as you get a knife pulled on you and that for a tenner, you think, right.
You had a knife pulled on you.
Yeah, like my mate got sold some salt and I said, like, don't worry about it, I'll sort that out. I said, fuck you, who sold you? And he said, him over there. So I went over to this kid and I'm like, hey mate, what the fuck's this? Give us some money back. And he turned around and said, you what? And I said, this salt, dickhead, you know, and fucking giving you ripped my mate off, and he just
pulled the knife
went, oh, you want your money back? And I went, like, yeah, that's what you can do. You know, and he just pulled the knife out, and I was like, in that case, here's another tenner. Here's another tenner, you know, but I let him keep the tenner. And then that was the same night that the gun went off as well. So like on the dance floor. So it was like, you know what? I think the ears are wearing off, and it was like, it was definitely a case of we've been ploughing into Hacienda every week for about
exactly. And then everyone
years.
was driving across from Leeds, and then obviously we just wanted a place to call our own in town. And I think, like you're saying, I think that what you're talking about on the door as well was just it is a way to kind of keep out that kind of element as well, in a quite a funny way.
That's why we said no trainers, you know. Even though I'm a trainer
Yeah.
maniac, you know, it's like. It was like, because we knew that people were just coming straight from the football, and it was like, Saturday nights are supposed to be something special, you know, you get dressed up and you go out and get a new shirt, and you play, you get a new tune and you play it to death, so you go out and get yourself psyched up and ready for going out on Saturday night, and that's what I wanted people to be like. So it wasn't so much like being elitist, we were just tidying things up, and again, it wasn't my idea, you know, like, I've seen it before, Studio 54, like you say,
Malcolm McLaren,
you know, McLaren, you know, and then there were clubs like Venus in Nottingham that was really strict to get in them, and flying in London, there were all these kind of Balearic sort of spaces that was popping up, that were more fashion conscious and more, you know, like, on the money, really, not on the money as on the money, but in the now, it was like, then it was the catching the zeitgeist of the moment. It was like a splinter movement that was kind of, that was right, you know, it was obviously right, because people, it seemed to just touch a nerve where nobody else was, you know, at that moment in time, you know, and it just went boom, you know, from doubling
every week, wasn't it?
Every week, bam, bam, bam.
80, 150, 300, we need another floor. Right, you can have this floor, guys.
Just be rude to people and tell people to fucking do one, and they don't want to come, you know.
They want to come on your club.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, also, it was also a good club. You know,
yeah, it was amazing. We had the best. I mean, even, you know, like the music policy, it was like, you know, 3-4 floors of, like, you know, whatever different style of music, but always quality. So it was like, I knew that was going to be the backbone, like yourselves, you know, the residents were the backbone of the club, you know. It was like, that was a music policy, and that's like, if you didn't like it, you could fuck off to another floor. You know, like,
you used to spend your whole night, didn't you? Those stairs, up and down the stairs. We're going to go there, like kind of like a festival. But it was, like you say, it was nice. You know, people would settle in a room for a while, but you know, you could go and hear, you know, techno or house, or then that kind of whole Balearic beats thing, and all in one night. And that's, you know, it was, and then, but like you say, it was all all done well. On each floor, you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
Huggy down by the time of pleasure rooms, or Ali obviously first down in the basement of the music factory,
Yeah.
then later Huggy, and then like maybe something more like, you know, kind of more house, like me on the middle floor, and then upstairs you'd have, you know, Boggy, and then James Holroyd went on to become the Chemical Brothers tour
it's
DJ.
brilliant.
And
Boggy wasn't even a DJ.
He wasn't even a DJ at the
He
time,
just
was
said,
he?
I said, do you want to be a DJ? And he said, I'm not a DJ. I said, you've got some great records. And you know what I mean? You've been making these 7-inch CDs for years. So it was always a good tune meister was Boggy, you know, and he used to be just, you know, like before house music, he'd just make these CDs of all his favourite records. And we used to listen to all the time in the car, so that's what, you know, and now he's still be DJs now to this day, you know, like, that's why we kept the residents away, because if you get the best, you don't need to get any the rest, you know. That's what made the club go, though, you know, like the people that were, without people, you're nothing, you know, like the club is a club, you know, like, but without the dance floor, there's nobody to play to. Without them DJs, there's no music to dance to.
And
so.
you were an unusual person promoting. I mean, I guess more usual then, but unusual now, in that you did really put a lot of faith into resident DJs.
Yeah.
There was myself and Alistair Cook, who were the original resident DJs. Then along came Huggy, James Holroyd, and it kept going over the years. Paul Woolford, Tristan da Cunha, and many others along the way. And you really supported.
It's like being a proud dad, you know, like
yeah.
the proof's in the pudding, having good ears, you know, like when they're successful. It's like when we saw Basement Jacks like headlining the Pyramid stage, it was mega. It was like, yes, man, you know what I mean? I knew it and freaking knew they'd be massive, you know. And it's like with, like, you know, having a good ear for your music. That's why I didn't channel so much on my own music, to be truthful, because like, I was surrounded by all this great music, all the DJs and residents. So it was like, and I knew that if the guest DJs were going to be a bit iffy,
we could always tidy up. Because we used to call it bookending, didn't you? We'd start the night, and then the guests would play in the middle, and then we'd always close. And it did get a little bit like that, because sometimes we were booking producers that were making the records, but they weren't good DJs.
But I mean, I remember you telling me to pull Paul Oakenfold up once, and I was like,
No, he was killing. No, I'm not sure if it was Paul.
It was. We were playing Go Ourselves. Yeah, me and Paul talk about it, laughing about it.
Dear.
But yeah, he was going for that little Go at Chance period.
Sorry, Paul.
And it was like, he's forgiving you, don't he? It was like,
I do remember him coming when he just got into Go a Trance, and he was like playing on the house floor, wasn't he? And we were like, wow, where's he going with this? And I think it was like, looking back in it though, it was a little bit like my lack of foresight of how things were changing though, because it was going down really well, but I just knew it was just that fast. I probably couldn't really follow it, so it's probably more my nerves than like, you know, a reflection of how he was playing.
Well, whatever it was. I mean, like, we can't always be, you know, we all make mistakes. And, like, you know, it's like anything. You know, it's your crowd, it's your family, it's your, you know, your ears. You know, like, it's important that whatever's going in them ears, wherever they're in my nightclub, that it's good. And if it's, or what I believe to be good.
And so who were some of your favourite guests that really did get basics, and then they went on for, you know, to be regulars for a long time?
Derek Carter, Andrew Weatherall.
Yeah.
You know, like, probably, you know, like, there was
Slam Boys, Slammer an early
really,
one, and Dominic Capella from the Sub Club, that whole Glasgow connection.
I don't think there's anybody that's ever been on those decks that we didn't care for. It's just now and then, it was like sometimes they were always on their A game, but most of the time
people
they were,
would be.
you know.
People come to basics, they would be on their A game.
Yeah. I mean, Pete Tong, you know, always said that. He said, you know, at one point we put him on the flyer, which made him nervous because he was a Radio 1 thing, but he was like, when he came, he always played an amazing set, you know what I mean? And he always said it's the most uncomfortable place he's ever played, because it was like, it was always intense, you know, like. But I've seen people sit down, like the crowd, like, you know how they sit down now on the floor, and you know, like then jump up.
DC-10 thing,
I've
wasn't
seen, but long before that, I've seen like the old crowd just sit on the floor and not
dance, not in a good way.
Protest, yeah. Just like I don't want to mention any names, but like he was mortal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a record he'd been playing over and over again, and it was it was great at the time, first time when he played it, and then he played it, and then everybody just sat down. It was like it was teen spirit, but it was I'm not going to say anything about this, but it was hilarious. But I mean, can you imagine when everybody just sits down like...
The Teen Spirit really worked. I think that was one nice early memory of mine. Was Ali playing Teen Spirit in 1991 when it first came out, and Ali would mix, you know, Nirvana with some Belgian new beat with an acid house track.
Yeah, it weren't Ali. This because Ali did.
No, it wasn't. I'm just saying, but that just going back to the night, the memories of what Basics was, not what it wasn't, but what it was like. You know, that Nirvana was. I don't think, you know.
Well, Ali didn't even practice. I mean, Nirvana was just one of many kind of punky, like kind of grungy records we put on, like, you know, John Lydon into Westbam into Alice, just
Alarm
like crossfire it all the time.
My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, and
2 copies.
And Dust Brothers and
it was early Chemical Brothers.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's what it was all about. That kind of like fucking have a bit of that, you know. Like if the mix didn't go in, it didn't really matter that much. It was like the energy of it. It was just phenomenal, you know. Ali's way Ali played was just like driven, you know. It was like, and sometimes it'd be like channeled. You'd be like, he couldn't even believe it himself when it worked, you know. It was, but when it worked, it was that good. It was freaking essence, you know. I've seen him like black out while he was DJing and just go straight over, you know what I mean? And then and then just come back around and just put the next mix in and get it perfect. You know? I've seen Sasha do that. I've seen loads of people do that, to be truthful. You couldn't get away with what we used to get away with with everybody on the phones, you know, like everybody thinks of Steven Spielberg now and now, you know, Kubrick or something. It's like,
going back to that way Ali DJ'd though, I know when he passed, we were already friends with Weatherall. I mean, Weatherall was, you know, basically a regular right from the start, and he loved Ali, and he wrote some really nice words.
Well, he said
when Ali passed.
He did. He said if Ali had his untimely death, he would have changed the course of house music. You know,
an accolade.
And Andrew went on to do exactly that, didn't he? You know, he followed. Ali was a big inspiration to Andrew, and vice versa. And and Weatherall just did exactly what would have happened, you know.
Well, he was already doing it, but it was lovely that he spotted that in Ali.
Yeah, there was like kindred spirits, very much so, in that musical sense, you know, in many ways, you know.
Yeah.
And Andrew was with us all the way through it, you know. But, you know, like, people don't realise that we've had resident DJs like Harvey, you know.
DJ Harvey.
Weatherall was a monthly resident, Harvey was a monthly resident.
Yeah.
And you don't go anywhere else, you know. It's like, that's where you are, you know. Like Blossom
it did feel a little bit like being in the Mafia at times.
Blossom where
you're not going anywhere else, you play it.
Blossom where you planted, wasn't it? You know, but, you know, it wasn't anywhere better to play, really. I don't think.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. And when we started travelling, I'd be so disappointed because it was quite often on the Friday, and you go and you hear a lot of things about it. And I was kind of like the boy in the bubble a little bit because I had my own kind of sound, and I was, you know, very influenced by New York. I'd been a trip to New York and hearing Junior Vasquez and the Sound Factory and all Danny Tenaglia, who later mixed Back to Basics album actually.
It was mad,
and we went to Merck and, like you said, Derek Carter and Shay Damier on Trent, all those American DJs were so big at the club, and I was very much inspired by that. And I'd be like there, and I'd have the opportunity to play like big long sets like that on a Saturday. Then I go on a Friday to, I don't know, somewhere that was pretty hyped, to just be like so disappointed and be like, wow, that's kind of like, you know, okay, not gone down maybe even, and then come back on Basics knowing you're at home and you're on home turf and you could play like yourself again.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
so thanks for that again. That was, you know, you kind of engineered and made that a fertile ground for experimentation.
The first 2 years was like it was been like I mean, it was like a destination. It was like being like Studio 54 or something for about 2 years. You know, like, it became like, you know, something that was uncontrollable. It was like a rollaway barrel or something. It was just a runaway carriage. You know, it was just it was off. You know what I mean? And when it was just. It was like somebody, well, I maybe lit the torch paper. Yeah, but you said something recently, and you know, the firework went off. But you said something. It wasn't a band. It was a band. You know, it was like, and I was like, kind of like.
And I really believe that. I felt that we were in a band, you know,
family,
and we didn't always get on. It was tough times. We went through a really, like, you know, obviously an absolutely an absolute tragedy. You know,
When you spend that much
know.
time with the same people, you know, you need a rest. You know, it's like it's like when bands are on tour, you know, like, and they've got the third album to put out, and it's like the pressure's on, and it's got to be as good as the last one. But you know, they've been on tour for
and touring's knackering. It's stressful. Everyone's like, you know, we're right on the edge in those days as well.
And everybody's behaviour, you know. You know, it's all everybody's different, you know. So it was like. Some people could, you know, I mean, we were like invincible at one point, you know, it was just...
We thought we were anyway.
We thought we were, you know, but you know, like, in so many ways, you know what I mean? Not just in what we were doing, just, it weren't being too cocksure of yourself, but it was like, we just partying like harder than anybody else, you know.
You definitely, you took all the medals for sure. You know.
I don't think I took all the medals, but it was like...
But Brandon gave you a run for your money.
It was a time in history where...
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a time and a place.
Where that time, you know, it was... you know, it's like Hunter S. Thompson said that he didn't condone, I think it was like fast living, fast cars, fast everything, hard liquor and cigarettes and women, but in his case it worked, you know. So it's not for everybody, you know. It's like, you know, if you can, you can. If you can, you do. If you did, you did. If you did, you didn't. It's like there's no comparisons. It was never about. I used to party so hard just because I didn't want to miss anything. You know what I mean? It was like that, blatantly that. I didn't want to go to sleep because I didn't want to miss anything. Little did I know it was ADHD, but, you know. Which when they never had, you know.
Could call it FOMO now, don't they? But you know,
fear of missing out, is it? Yeah, I've only just found out what that was, you know, FOMO.
Yeah.
I've never had FOMO in my life, you know what I mean? I bet, you know, because
I've always missing out. You never missed out.
You know what I mean? It's like,
no fear of you missing out on a party.
Exactly, and it's like you're not wasting time if you're enjoying the time you're wasting. That's what I say. You know, it's like, and Bez is much the same. It's like I saw Bez on telly the other day saying that something like saying to Sean Ryder, saying like, well, when you stop, you get poorly. When you stop, it's like. And most of the people I know that stop partying and stop going out just like turn into old fat bastards or something and get ill, and it's like more as matter of fact, to be honest. It's like it just depends like what your lifestyle was before that, you know, but once you stop, you know, it gets harder, you know, to go out and party. You know.